moving into a centering pose on your belly is because it right away will start to bring the focus to that solar plexus area when you breathe. It's one of the best positions for biofeedback with the breath and the belly. So, coming forward, if you choose this, all the way down on the belly, I'm going to choose to stack hands and place the third eye point right between the eyebrows on one of my knuckles. That also is another activation point because the third eye and the solar plexus talk to each other quite a bit. Between your intuition and your inner wisdom, there's a direct connection there. So that's another point for that. If this, for whatever reason, doesn't feel comfortable for you now, or as we move through the centering phase, please choose any other position that feels most accessible for you to center. And then notice the breath. Feeling it first as it moves in without you trying to form it or lengthen it. And then eventually, after a few cycles of the breath, getting that rhythm soothed out, noticing it at the depths of the belly eventually. So you might feel that gentle pressure of the belly expanding against the floor as the reminder to bring the inhale a little bit longer, a little bit deeper into the body. As you exhale, feel free to imagine that belly almost lifting away from the floor. Not that the skin of the belly will actually ever be completely lifted away from the floor in centering, but you're getting a little bit of lightness between you and the floor on the exhale. If you have chosen to start with one cheek down, on an inhale, just gently lift the head so that you can flip to the other side. As I said at the beginning, we'll be moving through this practice today, focusing on the idea of our purpose, and our purpose being tied to that internal motivation. Your inner fire. Part of you that gives you the drive to do what you're passionate about, to be who you are. If you already have identified what that might be, that's totally fine. You can focus on that. Notice what it is that are your needs, your interests, your foundational emotions that you either need or utilize to activate that passion and that being. For some folks, if the purpose is yet to be discovered or is in a process of evolution as they do throughout a lifetime, then maybe the focus instead is on activating that internal fire. So I'm visualizing some heat at the core, visualizing the color yellow or a deep golden
Alvin
orange.
Howard, if you're in the building, please come to the front office. Alvin Howard. please come to the front.
Keep the breath.
Elvin Howard, if you're in the building, please come to the front office. Elvin Howard, please come to the front office.
You're gonna take about 2 more cycles of breath. And eventually, on an inhale, bring a little bit of lightness to the head. Float it a little bit away from the hands, and then slide the elbows underneath the shoulders with the fingertips pointing towards me, and gently lift the sternum. So coming into Sphinx. If this is a little too high to start from right at the beginning of class, bring the elbows out a little bit wider rather than directly under the shoulders, and then that can drop the extension, bring the extension further up the back rather than into the mid-back. Then as you lengthen, you're thinking about pulling the shoulders away from the ears and reaching the sternum towards me. So it's more about the lift of the sternum than it is the chin or the top of the head. You're welcome to stay here, or you're going to release the right hand and thread it under the bridge of your left arm, and just kind of inch those right fingertips out to the left side until you can rest the right shoulder down. And then I'm just going to flip my left forearm in so I can rest my forehead. And notice the sensation along the back of the right shoulder blade. And breathe there. Take an inhale. Press into the left forearm. Lift yourself up. Slide the right out. And just set up for the other side. This time left hand coming through. Inching those fingers over, noticing if one side feels like it has a little bit more spaciousness, you can get the shoulder, arm out a little further, shoulder down a little further. Not as one side is better than the other, but just for data. Just noticing what the body's needs are for today. Take one more breath here. And then inhale, press, lift up, slide the arm out. And then bring the hands all the way underneath the shoulders. Engage right around that belly button point. Push the floor away. And transition now into a seated pose. It could be cross-legged, it could be butterfly. Might be seated on your knees, whatever you prefer. Hands are going to come to the knees. You're going to take an inhale and then lift the sternum up towards the sky, coming into a seated cow. As you exhale, use the hands for leverage against the knees. Tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, round that back into a seated cat. Do it again, inhaling and lift. As you lift, imagine pulling the bottom front ribs down towards the top of the pelvis so that you are really getting the back extension rather than dumping into the low back arch. Exhale brings you into cat. We're going to do one more round. Inhale and lift. And then exhale and cat. And then inhale, come back to your comfortable seated position. If you want to crisscross your legs the other direction, just for the hips to get a little bit more evenness, that's fine. If you're comfortable where you are, you can stay where you are. We're going to do a breath practice. It's breath of fire. Actually has been known, proven to do a little bit more toning across the abdomen than really most of the conventional abdominal exercises, quote unquote. But what we're thinking about today is really building up that fire. And when we are going to do it today as an introduction, I'm going to have you focus more on the exhale than on the inhale. The inhale will naturally just kind of happen when you do that forceful exhale. Also, I've been doing this for a really long time, and it almost always feels awkward for me. It's just not a breath practice I love. I always feel like I'm messing it up. So don't feel like you have to have the perfect rhythm or that it sounds just right or that it's perfect ever, because it's hard to get there. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna forcefully exhale out of your nose. Light seal on the lips, and you're going to use a bit of engagement, pulling the abdominal muscles up as if they're kind of like pushing the diaphragm up at the bottom of the lungs to force that air out. And then your inhale will just kind of naturally happen. So it's that abdominal flexion up and in that's causing the exhale. So take a lengthen inhale. Let the exhale out. And then it's so generally we'll do about 10 rounds. And I don't know how much this is translating for you online folks, if you can hear what's happening, but as best possible. We're going to do one more round. So take that lengthened inhale. If you want to put your fingers at your right above your belly button, you can, just for that biofeedback. And then notice what you feel. Notice where you feel. And then use that for information as we move forward, because we will probably get a similar feeling around that area, and we're not trying to overdo it necessarily today. So next, take an inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, drop the hands towards your hips or maybe a little bit back behind you so you can lean into the palms, planted feet on the floor. I'm going to take us through stages. We're going to do this one more time towards the end of class. Hands are going to come behind the thighs. And to start, here's like bus stop number 1. If you want to hang out here, this is your spot. Bus stop number 2 is just going to release the torso a little ways away from the front of the thighs. Number 3, lifting the toes. Number 4, floating the heels. Number 5, release the hands. And number 6, heels are about knee height. Moving between those 6 bus stops whenever you choose. But the main thing, your sternum is staying lifted towards your knees. Shoulders are open, collarbones are broad. And you're going to hold for one more breath. Hands come back. Exhale, release down. Grab behind the thighs. Come into that cat pose, tucking the chin, tucking the tail. And taking nice lengthened inhales and exhales. And then inhale, release, lift up. Pulling the toes up. This time, if you want to hang out here, feel free. Otherwise, release the chest away, or float the heels, or bring the heels up, or release the hands. Any of those options. Hold for about 3 rounds of breath. Moving between any of the bus stops that you choose whenever you choose. Exhale, release, drop the feet down. One more rounded cat here. Let the breath flow. And then inhale, lift up. And then swinging the legs around or rolling over the knees, whatever you prefer, we're going to come into tabletop. So we're going to do a little bit of plank, of course, because, you know, it's solar plexus. So you're going to keep yourself oriented towards the top edge of your mat. I'm just turning to the side for the sake of the camera. So you can stay in tabletop this whole time, or walk the knees back a bit so that you can drop the hips, come into knees down plank, or tuck the toes, float the knees, come into knees up plank. Any of those 3 options. We're going to hold plank, keeping the shoulder blades broad and open across the upper back. Bottom front ribs pulling to the top of the pelvis. One more breath. And then your next inhale, either knees down or knees up, you're going to shift the shoulders forward a bit, squeeze the elbows in, lower down into chaturanga. I'm going to take it all the way down to the floor. You do you. If you want to hover, you can. And then your version of back extension. So I'm going to start in low cobra. You can go up higher if you choose. Release on your exhale, tuck the toes in. Inhale to push the floor away, either low, plank, high plank, or coming right back up into downward facing dog with the hips lifting towards the ceiling. If you want to walk your dog for this first time, alternating heels down, go ahead and do so. Keep the breath flowing. And then let's take a peek at what's happening with those shoulders. So again, even with this position and the arms coming above the head, still thinking about pulling the shoulder blades down towards the back pants pockets. Eventually bringing some stillness to the heels, reaching the heels towards the floor. If you notice that they're big, wide distance away from the floor, take a step forward or 1 or 2 steps forward. Soften the knees to get a little bit more length in that spine. One more breath here. And then bring the eyes, gaze towards the fingertips. Step walk or hop your feet to the top of your mat, standing in forward fold. Take an inhale, hands to the shins, extend the spine long. Exhale, drop back down into fold, keeping the knees soft. And then inhale, let's lift up from the hips, lengthening the arms, reaching all the way up to the ceiling. Exhale, lower the hands down, keeping the feet about hip width distance apart. Step the knees over the ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders over the hips, and then reach the crown of the head towards the ceiling with the arms open. Then pull those bottom front ribs down to the top of the pelvis. Notice if you can get that similar engagement that you received when you were doing the breath practice, right above the belly button. Hold it and breathe. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extend the spine, half lift. Exhale and fold, deep bend in the knees, hands to the mat, step, walk, or hop the feet back either to tabletop, knees down or knees up, plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Lower it down. Inhale, either your low cobra again or high cobra, or if you want upward facing dog, do so. Exhale, release down, tuck the toes. Inhale, push the floor away. And then exhale, down dog. Hold and breathe. You're going to take an inhale. As you exhale, shift back forward into your plank. Knees down or knees up, or tabletop. You're going to release the right toes, let them hover. Take an inhale, bring the right knee outside, maybe touch it to the right elbow. Exhale, release it back. You can do the same thing in tabletop, do it again, or in knees down plank. Step it back, lower that right foot, hips up, down dog. Hold and breathe. Down dog can always become a child's pose at any point if you choose. Inhale, gaze or drishti comes towards the fingertips, and you're going to step that right foot to where the right hand is. Pivot your left foot down at an angle so you have a foundation, and then lift the torso up. Deep bend in the front knee, arms can lift if you choose. Shoulders melt away from the ears. Yep, just like that. Perfect. And then thinking about inviting the hips to be parallel towards the top edge of the mat, but not forcing it. Again, drishti towards the fingertips if that's comfortable for your neck, or perhaps down towards where the wall meets the floor in front of you. Release the hands to the hips. Inhale, extend that front leg long. I'm going to step my back foot in about 6 inches or so to give my hips a little bit more space before I hinge forward over that front leg. I'm encouraging my right hip to stay up and back a little bit as I come into pyramid pose. Hands can stay on the hips or thigh, shin. If you have your blocks in front of you and you want to place the hands on the blocks, that's an option as well. Take one more breath. Exhale long. Inhale, lift up. If you don't have your block handy, like I do not, go ahead and grab one. You're going to keep the feet and legs generally set up about where they are. Grab your block in your left hand, reach it out from the left shoulder. I'm gonna, again, put my right hand at my right hip so I can encourage that right hip to stay a little bit more towards midline. Reach the block way out in front of me. And then I'm gonna drop it down on the outside of my right foot. Place the left hand on the block, and then I'm gonna reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Now, here are some other options. If this does not feel good for whatever reason, bring the block to a higher setting, bring the block inside the front foot, or don't raise the arm and just keep it at the hip. So revolved triangle is a pretty extensive twist, not necessarily a good fit at all times. Last breath here. And then exhale, release the hand down. I'm gonna slide my block over so I can slide my back leg back, coming into low lunge. Left hand stays inside the right foot. Inhale, right hand can come to the right knee, or you can lift it up towards the ceiling into dragonfly twist. The left shoulder's coming towards the right knee. Notice what's happening with that right hip. If it's really wanting to sass out to the right side, see if you can encourage it to stay a little bit more towards midline so that that twist is coming from the thoracic spine. Last breath here. Exhale, lower the hand down. Now I'm going to bring my block inside my right foot again. Right hand's going to come to that block. I'm going to use it for a little bit of leverage to flip myself up so that now my back foot is flat again. Pretty much parallel to the back edge of the mat. I'm going to reach my left arm up towards the ceiling. Or you can reach it over the ear. Or you can wrap it around behind your low back. If you don't need or want the block, you can move it to the side, or you can bring elbow to the front knee. Lots of variations in extended side angle. One more breath here. And then if your elbow is not already on your knee, I'm going to invite all of us to get it there. I'm going to move this out of my way so I don't step on it. And then I'm going to step or hop my back foot all the way to meet my right foot. This time my right hand is going to lift my right knee, coming up into one-legged mount. Find your drishti, find a spot for your drishti, perhaps on the floor down in front of you, 6 to 8 feet. Maybe it's up where the wall meets the ceiling. Now, you can hang out here if you would like, or you can take the left hand, find the right big toe. This is always an option to stay here. Or you can start to extend that right leg, lengthening it out in front of you. Any amount, doesn't mean it has to be perfectly straight. And then right arm twists back behind you. Perhaps it's in your practice today to bring your drishti to your right thumb behind you. For me today, I'm going to hang out right here. One more breath. Exhale, right hand to right hip. Release the right leg. Drop it down. Both knees bend, coming into chair pose. Inhale, arms come straight out in front of you. Extend, and then as you are dropping the tailbone, remember again, you're thinking about weight at the tail but not tucking it. One more breath here. Exhale, hands to heart center. Twist to the right. So you're coming in. If you choose, you can hang out here, or perhaps you hook the left elbow over the right thigh. Gaze over the right shoulder. So this transition, not going to be for everyone. So you do you. We're going to press the elbow into the thigh into the elbow. Start to lighten the left heel. Maybe float the left foot until you can step it back into lunge. And then inhale, windmill the arms so that the right hand comes to the left thigh, left arm comes up to the ceiling, and you're gazing over that right shoulder. Last breath here. And then inhale. Now, left hand, reaches forward and down, touching out in front of the right foot. If you want to use your block, put it in front of that right foot. If you want to keep the left toes down, do so, or start to float the left leg up. And then right hand can stay at the right hip, or you can lift it towards the ceiling, revolve half moon. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, lower the back foot, meet the front foot, hang out and forward fold. Inhale, hands into shins, extend the spine. Exhale, let it out. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, extend the spine, lengthen. And exhale, let it out. Soften the knees. Inhale, lift the spine, reach the arms up, lengthen all the way to the top. Exhale, release the hands. If you want to close your eyes, bring it internally a little bit more again. Or keep the eyes open and find a spot for your drishti, your gaze point. I've mentioned the word drishti multiple times today. It comes into play a lot with our focus and our purpose, our passions, what we stay focused on. Generally is what motivates most of our how we spend our time, what our mind stays full of. And this opportunity right now in between sides can be an option to shift that focus if you identify it would be helpful. Once you have your focus reset again, take an inhale, blink the eyes open, or reach the arms up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half lift and extend. Exhale, deep bend in the knees, drop the hands down, step or hop the feet towards the back of the mat, either knees down, knees up, plank, or tabletop. Hold for a breath. Exhale, shift forward, squeeze elbows in, chaturanga on down. Inhale, your version of a back extension. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, child's pose. Hold and breathe. Feel the lift now of the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And as you do, think about that spot where we identified like 2 inches above the belly button. Feel if you can get a little bit more lift right at that spot that can help almost float the tailbone and the pelvis a little higher towards the ceiling. Taking one more breath here. As you exhale, you're going to shift forward, knees down, knees up, plank or tabletop. Next step is only an option. Inhale to float the left toes. Exhale, left knee towards the left elbow. Inhale, extend. One more time. Exhale and touch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, gaze comes towards the fingertips. Left foot follows to land where the left hand is. Right foot out at an angle, lift up, deep bend in the front knee. Virabhadrasana 1 as the fingertips reach. Gaze either lifts to the fingertips or stays where the wall meets the floor in front of you. Take another lengthened inhale as you exhale. Melt the shoulders. Next exhale, let's bring the hands to the hips, lengthen the front leg. Step that back foot in if it's good for you to do so, as it is for me, and then start to hinge from those front hips. If you don't need to shorten your stride for pyramid, Go ahead, keep that back foot back. I've just noticed it doesn't work real well for me. And then hands are gonna land wherever you choose. So this is what I was mentioning before. If you want hands on blocks on either side of that front foot, do so. Imagine again that left hip point staying more towards midline, a little bit further up and back. Taking one more breath here. Inhale. If you have a block handy, grab it as you lift back up. If you don't have a block handy, use this time to grab one. This time block's going to come in that right hand, extend it out from the right shoulder. Left hand's on the left hip as you extend forward and reach. And then exhale, let's drop that block either to the inside or outside of the left foot. Start to twist and open towards the left side. And if you choose, you can float the left arm towards the ceiling. Hold and breathe. Let the breath flow as much as is possible. And then exhale, release down. Lift up that back heel, let it slide back. Hands are going to frame the front foot. You can drop the right hand down. And again, if a block underneath that right hand works better to come into dragonfly, go ahead and do so. You're going to shift the right shoulder towards the left knee. If you want to keep the left hand where it is, go ahead or float it up. Thinking again, what's happening with that left hip. If it's sassing out a lot, bring it in. One more breath. Exhale, release it down. From here, shifting, so now the left hand comes to the floor or block inside the foot. Back foot is out at an angle, generally about parallel to the back edge of the mat, or maybe the toes kind of tucked a little bit more towards you. And then you can keep that right hand on the hip, or you can reach it up or over or around behind the low back. Any version of extended side angle on this side that works for you. So again, that means that if elbow on the knee is a little bit more, creates a little bit more opening across the chest, then go ahead and do so. Take another breath. And then exhale, gaze comes towards the left hand. You're going to bring that left hand towards the left knee. Allow that right foot to step forward or hop until you can land next to it. And then use the left hand to float the left knee all the way up into Ekapada Tadasana. So your energy is down through the sole of the right foot. Breath is flowing to keep the center of gravity a little lower. Keep the gaze steady to help the balance. If you want to use the right hand and bring it to the left big toe, that's an option. You can reach that left hand back behind you if you choose. Perhaps you start to extend that left heel out in front of you. And then if you choose on this side, gaze can come back towards the left thumb. Last breath here. Gently, slowly exhale, release the foot. Plant it next to the front foot, and then drop it into chair pose. We want the arms to be bookends for the ears and reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. That's an option, or you can reach them straight out from the shoulders or keep them at heart center. One more breath. And then exhale. Here's where we're going to twist. To the left, you can stay more upright, or you can hook the elbow over the knee. So here's your transition. Pressing elbow into knee, knee into elbow, creating that bit of pressure so that now you can start to float the right toes, step back, land in lunge, and then windmill so that the left hand coming back towards the right thigh, right hand up towards the ceiling and looked over your left shoulder. Last breath here. And then windmill back towards the front. So now the right hand block, if you'd like, is gonna come out in front of the left foot. Either keep the right toes down or start to float them up. And if you like, you can reach the left hand towards the ceiling or keep the left hand on the hip, revolved half moon. Gaze can be down on the floor or up towards your left thumb. Last breath here. Exhale, step the right foot to meet the left and hang in forward fold. Take an inhale, hands to shins, extend and lengthen. Exhale, release. One more time. Half lift, lengthen, exhale. Inhale, soften the knees. Let's roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Finally, the head comes up last. Shoulders and shoulder blades melt down towards the back waist. Eyes closed again if that's comfortable for you, or find a spot in front of you to rest your gaze. Whether your eyes are open or keeping the eyes closed, think about stacking knees over ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over the hips. Lengthening the crown of the head to the ceiling, feeling the breath. Notice what happens with the mind and the nervous system when you stay focused on the breath. Taking an inhale, blink the eyes open, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold, dive forward. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, hands down, step the feet back. Let's drop down to tabletop. Knees are down on the ground. Take a lengthened inhale, come into cow. Let the belly drop, lift the chin, lift the tail. Exhale, round into cat. Notice how that feels between the shoulder blades. Do one more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. And then from there, come back to your neutral spine. You're going to have the toes tucked into the mat. You are welcome to hang out right here. If you would like, you can create a suction cup so that the base knuckle of each finger and the base of the palm are carrying the majority of your weight in your hands. And then ball mound of the feet. Take an inhale. As you exhale, float the knees. Half inch to 1.5 inches or 2 inches. You're going to hold here for anywhere from 1 to 3 breaths, taking a break whenever you choose to take a break. Noticing if you're letting those shoulders and shoulder blades hunch. And then exhale, release down. Untuck the toes, widen the knees, shift the hips, child's pose. You can lower that third eye down to the floor, you can lower it on a block, or you can pancake the hands and lower the third eye. Feel the breath. Child's pose is another great opportunity for that biofeedback with the breath, letting the belly really expand into the inner thighs with each inhale. Taking one more breath here. Inhale. Gently float the head as you're ready. Bring a little bit of engagement into the forearms and hands and pull yourself back up to tabletop. Drop the knees back under the hips. Toes are untucked, so the toenail side is down this time. We're gonna repeat that. If pressing into the tops of the feet is not a fit for you and you wanna go back to the toes, pressed into the mat, do that. Or if you don't wanna do this at all, we're gonna stay in tabletop and do cat-cow. So suction cup with the hands, take an inhale. As you exhale, float the knees. Anywhere from 1 to 3 breaths. You choose taking a break whenever you want to take a break, thinking about pulling belly button to spine. Exhale, release it down. And then child's pose again. Let the hips release. Hold and breathe. Inhale, float. Lift yourself up, and then just flip around, coming into a seated position. We're gonna extend that right leg long. Left foot anywhere along the inside of the right leg. So we're going to go into Janu Sirsasana. If you know what you want for setup, go ahead and do so. When I go into this pose, almost always I feel more comfortable if I kind of take my hands back on my hips and then shoot that front leg forward a little bit. As I do that, I'm able to bring a little bit more spaciousness into my pelvis so that coming into that twist and then forward folding over the leg is a little bit more accessible. You do you. Inhale, you're gonna lengthen the spine. If it works better for you to lift the arms up as you come into your inhale and then forward fold, do so. Otherwise, you're just going to use the hands and gently rock yourself forward, keeping that spine lengthened and the gaze towards the ankle until you feel any part of your body say, we're gonna pause here for a moment. Could be hamstring, could be groin, could be low back, could be upper back. When you have that signal from your body, you're gonna pause, let the breath flow for a good 30 to maybe 60 seconds. After a few breaths, generally, the body's been able to acclimate to the shape, soften some of the soft tissues a little bit more. And if you can recognize that that's what's happening, then go ahead and move forward a little bit more before you roll the forehead down towards the leg. You're going to keep your left hand either at the ankle or foot or toe of the right leg. As you bend the right leg, keeping your left foot right where it is, right hand's going to come back to the right hip. And lift the right foot up in the left hand. Maybe you keep that knee bent, maybe you start to lengthen it out if that feels accessible. Does not really matter what you do with the knee on this side. The main point is going to be releasing that right hand if that feels available. If you feel like it's a little unstable or just not great for your low back to release the hand, then don't do so. So right thumb is straight up from the shoulder, gaze is on that right thumb. Now, as I start to tilt back, I'm using the pressure of my foot against my hand for a little bit of leverage here. And then I'm going to see what it feels like to start to float that left knee, left foot off the ground. Perhaps I extend it out to the side, point the toe, and notice what that does with my balance. One more breath here. Exhale, release the left leg down. You're going to bend that right knee, let the foot land inside the leg. Here again is where that option is to kind of shift those hips so you have a little bit more space for the spine to align with the leg. Take an inhale to lift. If you want to reach the arms, you can. And then as you exhale, start to walk yourself forward, torso, and doing it in increments so that you are able to really discern when the body's asking you to pause. So again, that focal point right now, the purpose right now, letting the body lead. A lot of times we go through our days just kind of pushing through what our body's signals and sensations are, taking this opportunity to really tune into that, knowing what the needs are, and then lengthening again one more time before you exhale, letting the forehead release down. Keep the breath flowing, not necessarily attached to any formalized breath style, unless that's specifically serving you, but instead perhaps letting the breath naturally flow in a really smooth cadence. Inhale, lift the head. Start to lift the torso. This time right hand's coming towards left ankle or foot anywhere along the line, and then left hand towards the left hip. Start to rock back a little bit on those sits bones. Left foot is in the hand or ankle, and then either knee is extending or knee stays bent. Once you kind of feel like you've got yourself in a little bit of a balanced position, then notice what happens if you start to release that right knee or foot off the floor, or you extend that right leg out. If you choose, maybe you release the left hand and look at the thumb. So came into it a little bit differently this time, knowing then that there's options for your access point the next time. Exhale to release the right leg, come all the way back up, and then make your way down onto your back. If you need more core today, because I know everybody probably does, you can do it slowly and one vertebrae at a time. Otherwise, any way that is safe for you to come all the way down onto your spine. You have your block handy. Rest it next to your hips. I'm going to take an inhale to prepare. I'm going to have my block on the left side of me. As I exhale, I'm going to drop the knees to the left and perhaps let the block be a support for the outside of the left knee. If you don't like that or don't feel like it's serving you, you can release it out of your way. Arms are coming out from the shoulders into a T, chin comes over to the right side. Another breath here. Inhale. Feet come back to the floor if they're not there. Knees float up to the ceiling. If you're using a block, you can transfer to the right side, and on the exhale, the knees fall to the right. Chin to the left. Hold and breathe. Gradually at your pace, your inhale brings the knees and the chin to center, realigning the spine once you get there. And then exhale, extend the legs long. Moving into your version of a final rest, whether that's fully on your back or lengthening yourself onto your belly again. Back to that internal space. As you move into final rest today, one opportunity may be to bring your focus and attention to your core center, the solar plexus. That point just above the belly button. Notice what you notice there. Your sensations, physical body. Do you notice any feelings associated with an emotion? What type of energy do you discern? See those messages as information for any intention of passion or purpose. Keep your mind focused there. Your breath flow. Identify deep breath to let that fully steadied and stabilized into your nervous system. And if not, totally fine, but the breath also stabilize and steady the nervous system. Gradually and gently lengthening out the inhale as you do small movements to the smallest digits. Lengthening the exhale, let that movement move a little bit bigger and into the next largest joints. Perhaps eventually a long full body stretch. Either rolling over to one side from here or all the way up to seated whenever you're ready. One hand at the belly, one hand at the heart. Feeling the breath. Taking a moment of gratitude. First, that we have had this practice shared with us from the ancients in Southeast Asia. Practice that they discovered, they shared with the rest of the world. And then any other thought of gratitude for this space, for this day, for yourself, for another, let it float into your mind. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lower the chin. Shanti. Blinking eyes open.